We're the Rocket Jump Film School. I'm Cherish. This is Joey. We've got our special guest today, Dominic.
Dominic Diastis, whatever.
Yeah, he's a gaffer.
Yep, gaffer and grip.
Does genie stuff. So, welcome. Hi, everybody. Thursday, 4 o'clock. Welcome to our live stream. This morning, we put out a video with Dom. That was all about rental houses and properly checking your gear and loading it into a grip truck.
That's correct.
We are here today to talk more about that. If you guys have questions about that process, about
anything,
grip and electric, G&E,
throw them at me and I'll do my best to answer them as well as I can.
Yeah, and then we're going to do a little demoing as well, as much as possible. But before that, Joey really wanted us to recreate something.
Oh yeah, we have this Nerf gun and I believe I can stop a bullet or deflect the bullet. So I just want to.
Wing me in the right shoulder.
Yeah.
Do you want to do shoulder, shoulder, gut?
Let's do shoulder, shoulder, gut.
Okay.
This might seem familiar, and if it is, then you're in the know. But if not, I believe I can do this.
So Joey wants me to
wing me in the shoulder.
Wing you in the shoulder?
Yeah.
We're a little close. This close?
Yeah, this is close.
This close?
Man, all right. One more time. Other shoulder.
The other shoulder?
Wing him in the other shoulder.
Other shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay. It's real close.
Gut shot, all or nothing.
But wait, how come you didn't get that one? You said.
Do you want to do your shoulder again?
Gut shot.
We're getting closer.
I thought you were gonna. No, it's because.
All right, you ready?
Do it.
Proper trigger discipline, guys.
I'm gonna catch this one.
I shot you though. No, but I shot you though.
Well, I mean, but he caught it.
Hey,
It's
Danny.
All right.
If it was a real bullet, it would
Told
have been for
you.
him.
Told you. Okay, let's get started.
Tell us in the chat if you recognize the reference.
Yeah. If not,
Write down.
next time.
We'll applaud you.
I'm gonna be here in spirit, but Dom, take it away. If you need a hand, I can give you a hand.
Joey, you just add the jokes. I'm gonna be in
kick the
chat.
camera.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in chat. We're gonna all hang out with you.
Catch this.
I have really bad balance.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm not good at it. But I was just checking. Do
you
you guys
do
have
tree-
anybody have any questions?
Can you do tree pose?
Oh, hop in the chat. Say hello.
I'm going.
Whoa.
Hey guys, what might we know Dom from?
You might know. Great question.
It's a good one.
Great question.
First off, I'm very offended if you don't recognize me.
Stop.
Just kidding.
Dom, sorry, I jumped out of focus maybe a little bit. Dom has been in previous film school videos. He's done the notorious cabling videos.
Ooh, man, everyone's favorite. Everyone loves that.
How to coil a cable, and then the follow-up over under.
Yep.
Because
if anything, if I learned anything from that video, it was to never say never.
Never.
Yeah.
Like Justin Bieber taught me.
Never is like a trigger word. People
No.
jump on never.
People really
Never
hate
say
never.
never.
Yeah. Never say never.
And then what other stuff have you worked on with Rocket Jump as a whole?
Let's see, we did those videos. I've worked on the season 3 of Video Game High School. That's why I was introduced to these guys. I actually have a cameo in that very first episode. Joel McHale like pushes me through some.
You're eating an apple.
An orange.
An orange.
I was eating an orange with the
With the
skin
peel?
on. Yeah, and I was like, oh, this will be a fun little Easter
Character
egg.
thing.
Yeah.
That weirdo guy.
Yeah, so I did that. That's where I started. So I was a grip and then eventually an electric on Video Game High School Season 3. And then I ended up keying all the Field of Fire stuff for that season, which was brutal. We blew up that huge, massive building that day, and that was fantastic.
Where were you for that?
I actually made my own video. I think that's how I got into Freddie and Matt's good graces. Was I filmed my own little sketch using that explosion.
Nice.
I think it's called Repatch on YouTube. And it was.
Repatch?
I think actually a bunch of people caught onto it. They're like, "Oh, that looks like Video Game High School." I was like, "It is."
Correct.
So you're telling me that you repatched a thing and it led to the explosion?
Me and me and
Oh
Tony.
yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
great.
it's like 20 seconds long, but it's actually it's pretty funny.
Dude, we'll link to that.
But yeah, so Video Game High School, and then I was the key grip for all of Rocket Jump the Show on Hulu.
Yeah.
And you'll see me in the behind the scenes, all there, and we had
I don't know. Shut up, Joey.
Yeah.
I had one.
Throw it up.
I had one amazing rig that I was super proud of in that, and for Freddie's vlog, that they started to talk about on the behind the scenes part, and then like cut away from it right as they like got to me. I was like, no, that was a super cool one. I built this. So there's a shot. I forgot what were we doing. What Spike Lee movie where the floating out of the bed Freddie's
Oh
floating out.
yeah.
Where we
You can
didn't
see that in the trailer too.
Right. He wasn't actually, obviously, not floating out of the air. Everything was stood up straight. Bed was standing up straight. And I had a dolly I had 2 dollies I rigged together. Freddie was standing on one, and I had run speed rail and all kinds of clamps and clips and whatever, and then built a light up shining just on Freddie. And the bed was behind him. So as we pulled the dollies, it looked like Freddie was lifting up off the floor out of his bed.
It's a cool shot.
And it's a really cool shot. You can check. You can see the rig for like a second in that episode.
Before they cut it up, cut away from it.
Yeah, but it was a really good rig. So if you guys check that out, have any questions? That's also kind of ties in with all of our grip and electric rigging and whatever.
You did some shorts too, like ball pit.
Oh my God, yeah, ball pit. I was just on my text scout the other day. I was at the London Brawling alley. We're shooting there for this thing I'm doing.
So you did one. You're in TIE Fighters.
TIE Fighters, I'm in.
Yeah. He's the guy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm the guy sitting in the toilet.
You're the full-on True Lies intrusion.
Yeah, that's me. That was me
Yeah.
with my pants down and Jimmy Kimmel and Freddie fighting.
We've got some great.
Yes.
Coming in the feed.
Absolutely.
Yes. I don't even know where to begin. Trisha, is there anyone you saw that particularly stood out to you or no? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Board Teen asks, where would dolly rails go? In the attic or in the boards, or is that not G&E?
Normally dolly, when you're on dolly, whether you're using like a Fisher or a Chapman or whatever, a Panther, they usually have their own dolly track.
Those are all different kinds of dollies?
Yeah, those are all different kinds of dollies. JL Fisher, Chapman, everyone has their own preference. But there's also things like Dana dollies, which is a smaller dolly, which goes on like speed rail. So if you're doing that, normally that'll go up top with kind of like the ladders and the frames and stuff, and you'll do the same. You'll tie it down, make sure it doesn't.
Someone called you low budget Andy Samberg.
That usually happens a lot.
Which is,
Is it really?
Oh, every day of my life. Everyone
Except
calls me Andy.
he's not low budget, he's high budget.
I'm like,
That's
I'm
right.
pretty
Multi-million-dollar
Andy-
blockbuster Andy Samberg.
Andy
Get
Samberg.
it
I
right.
usually tell people, they're like, oh my God, do you know who you look like? And I'm like, yeah. I'm his cousin, Randy. And they're like, Randy? I was like, yeah, Randy Samberg. Nice to meet you.
Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
gosh. That's
The
terrible.
life.
Yeah.
Can you tell
That's
me
not a question.
right now?
Huh?
No,
Sorry.
me, them.
What?
Who?
What
Me?
camera are we using right now?
Oh, a C100. Why, am I doing a bad job, guys?
Harsh.
He's
I don't
using,
need-
Get up here.
I don't need to be back there. Well, if we're just doing
We're just
questions
talking.
first.
for right now, yeah. But to get back to your dolly
Yes.
track question, I'm sorry. Most of the dollies, if you're not using speed rail for like a Dana dolly, which is a smaller slider, portable slider is pretty easy. You build it yourself. The big ones have their own track, and usually they'll have a spot in the truck, so you slide it, or you'll slide it under your carts, or right up the middle if you have space, if you don't have much room on the truck, and you'll pull those off. They're super heavy though. They come in like 2, 4, 8, 10, 14 like feet long sticks of track that you need. There's round and circle track. There's round and square track, 2 different kinds. Usually on the circle track, the round track, you have these things called skateboard wheels, which are a bunch of skateboard wheels in a platform, 2 platforms. So you put them on there, then you have the dolly. The dolly weighs like 800 pounds, it's super heavy.
Yeah, it's
Right.
big.
So you get guys to lift it, and you put the back wheels into one of these like skateboard trays, and then you put we lift the front wheels into the skateboard trays, and it just goes a lot smoother on the track.
We should do a dolly video.
We should do
that would
dolly
We should do a
video.
leveling dolly, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Let's
because
go to JL Fisher right over here, and
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll do
work
more on
it.
dollies because dolly grip is a whole other.
that's a whole beast too.
Yeah.
I've only dolly gripped a couple things. This movie, The Invitation,
Yeah, that's
on
right.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Heck
actually
yeah.
ended up being good.
I saw the
Yeah.
invitation.
And I
That's
got
Karen Kusama's movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
dude,
great. She's
yeah.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I came on as a day player for that show, and then eventually 2 days later, the dolly grip like stopped coming.
He stopped coming, huh?
And the key grip's like, I hate dollies. Do you want to do it? And I was like, okay. He's like, cool. You're booked the rest of the show.
Wow.
Dang.
Nice. Dolly grip. Invitation.
Yeah, the
Some of you heard of
Invitation.
it. It's been floating around.
Yeah,
Got a lot of good buzz
Good
last
buzz from
year.
Variety at was it Sundance or
Yeah.
Tribeca or
Pretty good
somewhere?
thriller.
Yeah,
I was into
I
it.
still haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
Dude.
it's
I need to watch
sweet.
it.
It's a good movie.
Dude, we got some more questions. Oh,
all right.
wait, but you want to finish where it goes in the attic, or?
Oh no! Usually
overhead?
you won't put that stuff in the attic because it's too long. The attic is you're not going to put speed rail or dolly track back in the attic because it probably won't fit unless you have like the small 4-foot pieces. Then maybe, but I haven't really seen it.
Oh shoot!
So
I think
probably
we
go
put
overhead?
speed rail on the
In there?
No, you
the
said
lid.
speed rail for overhead.
I'm sorry.
Attic is the back.
Attic is the back.
Yeah.
of the truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overhead, you definitely put speed rail in frames and all kinds of stuff up top.
Don't
So we
listen
got
to
it
me.
right.
Yes,
you
we got
did.
it right.
Epic Lyrics asks, how important is G&E to the film industry?
Oh, extremely. If you didn't have grip and electric, you wouldn't have
You
you wouldn't have light.
You wouldn't have light.
Everything would be dark and whatever. But yeah, grip and electric, electricians, the electric side of it, they're in charge of all the heads, all the units, and mostly running power. So what'll happen is you'll get into like a stage or something and they'll have power drops with cam lock, which is a type of cable, 5-wire, banded. You'll run that to a distro box and essentially run out lunch boxes, which are just 5 20 amp Edison circuits like you have in your house, just 5 of them, all on this one little box.
So electric is anything to do with running power too.
Yes, anything that has
Yeah.
to do with electricity on set, even people like charging their phones and should talk to an electrician before plugging it in because you don't know what's on a circuit and if it's at max capacity, someone plugs in their cell phone. Sorry, I didn't mean to clap and ruin that.
No, you can clap.
It'll
Clapping's allowed.
pop the
Let's all.
circuit, and
Gut shot.
yeah.
Got it.
And the electric side is actually the grip side is a lot more in depth. Grips essentially help electricians, so electrics will put up a light, then the grips will throw up their diffusion and throw up siders and bottomers and cut the light off of wherever it's spilling and bouncing. But they're also in charge of helping camera team and camera movement. So they'll build the dolly that the camera will go on, or they'll have
Big elaborate like car rigs and all kinds of stuff.
Car rigs, building camera outside of cars, onto cars, making sure it's safe. The grips pretty much help everyone on set, even our department and everything.
That's like a description of a rig.
They help
People don't
sound.
know what that means.
They were Kevin always had that joke where he was like, "Ask the grip department for sound
Sound blankets.
blankets
They
and
love
things
it.
like that.
It's
They
their
love
favorite
it."
thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, they really love it.
Yeah. So
Or
any
the,
sort of demand or request, not demand, it's more of request.
Right.
Or
they
order.
call it, it's they like to form it as, they like to make it sound like a request, but it's usually a demand.
Yeah, get this
Like,
done.
they're like, can we get a courtesy for monitor, for camera?
Yeah.
And they're not asking, they're like, oh, we want it as a courtesy. They're like, no, put it up now.
That's what they're really saying.
That's really what they're saying.
Yeah. So if you don't have any of those, if you don't have those two departments,
You probably won't have much of a, you could still shoot. Lots of people shoot with no light or available light or whatever.
Natural
But
light.
it really makes everything more cinematic with grip and electric.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Good, I love questions. Bring them on.
Kelly Causey was just saying she thinks everyone's great.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly, so
Everyone's
much.
Great. Kelly's the best.
You the best.
the best.
I just feel like jacked down again. What do I do with my hands?
What do you do with the hands? Gosh, where did
Like
I see
this.
that the other day? Yeah, just leave them up.
I'm not
Finger guns?
Finger guns.
Maybe like this?
We got questions.
What's next?
Jackson Peters. Well, we've got a lot of questions, so we'll just try and move these out of clip. Jackson Peters asks, tips on union work, getting in, pros and cons, etc. Do you have any?
Are you a union man?
I am trying. I'm getting my days,
Yeah,
but it's honestly it's a crapshoot. I always tell people. My family always asks me this question. They go, "Oh, so are you in the union yet? You've been out there for almost 5 years, 4 years or so." I'm like, "No." They're like, "Why not? How come you're not in the union?" The only way to get into the union is to work on a union show. But the only way to work on a union show is to be in the union. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
What's the flipping process? Because sometimes that'll happen.
Yeah, it will happen. I don't know the exact process because I haven't been on any shows that flipped.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be on a couple.
What
And
does flip mean?
Oh,
flip
yeah.
means, I'm sorry, God, I know it's weird. I have
No,
to
no,
explain
it's
that
okay.
term.
That's what
Thank you.
That's what I'll
Right.
do.
When a show flips, essentially it starts off as a non-union show. Usually they're smaller budget. And then what happens is if it's a big enough budget, usually $1 million or more, like the unions will hear about it because they're like, oh, people are getting good rates. Like it seems like if it's a big enough production, you have a lot of this, a lot of that. They'll catch wind of it, whether someone tells them about it or they see it or blah, blah. The unions will come and they start talking to the crew and everybody and gauging interest on like, oh, do you want to turn this into a union shoot? And so if it does, what happens, there's like a whole process, I guess, of like, there's like, they have to strike and picket. So like the crew has to strike and say, we want this to become union. And there's like a picket line. And if you cross it, you're a scab. And they're like, it
All that
gets
stuff.
all into that political drama, or at least this is my understanding of it.
Yes. But if they if you're non-union and they flip you as part of the crew, then you can kind
Right.
of get over into it that way.
If
Count
they,
that.
Right. If they do, they'll flip it. So no matter how many days you worked, whatever days you have worked up, they retroactively become union days because now it's a union shoot. So if it's flipped, it goes from non-union to union, and all the days you've worked become union. And every union, at least local 600, 80, 600 is camera, 80 is grip and medic and craft service. 728 is electricians, gaffers, all those guys. DPs are under 600 in camera. But they all have a different process of getting in. So I think for grip and electric, you need 30 union days to be able to apply to get into the union.
Wow.
Dang.
Which is really hard.
Not easy.
I maybe have like 6 or 8 days. I was just on a show in December where I got some.
Some people aren't familiar with union. Can we talk a little about that?
Union is it's like an organized collective of workers who essentially have come together, and then they group together in order to stand up for to make certain demands and protect their rights as employees.
As a person, as an employee, to make sure they don't get taken advantage of,
So-
and make sure they're getting fair wages.
You
and
guys
all
might
those
have heard
things.
of like the Writers Guild, the Directors Guild, SAG, Screen Actors
Actors
Guild.
Guild.
Like those are all unions for each department. So we're just referring specifically to the grip and electric unions at the moment, but
Right.
every
There's
department
cinematography,
in
Has-
cinematography, directing, everyone has their union, and those
Transportation.
unions look out for their
Yeah.
workers.
They just look out. Let's say, it's exactly what they do. They look out for their workers. They make sure that if you're going to work, you're going to work your standard day, and you're going to get paid the right. So 8 hours is standard time. 8 hours to 12 hours is time and a half. Anything after 12 hours is double time. And they make sure that the productions actually pay you that, because you hate to see it, but there are some low budget productions that will pay people poorly or not well, or they're not paying them minimum wage, or they refuse to pay overtime, or all these different things. And the unions just kind of stop that. They go, okay, well, if it's over 12 hours, you're paying them their double time. You're paying them double their hourly rate. They're going to make sure you get fed every 6 hours. So you'll have you'll have breakfast, you'll have lunch, you'll have your second meal, which is after 12 hours. They're legally obliged to feed you again because you're on set for so long.
I know
All these things.
a lot of my actor friends, they get screeners of every movie, so that's like one of the perks if you're
in SAG.
if you're in SAG,
yeah, I wish
and-
I got screeners.
And unions can also offer like health insurance and all that other stuff.
Yeah, benefits, retirement funds,
So that's why if you're working freelance, you can still get a lot of the things that come with the benefits of being an employee somewhere by joining a union.
That's right.
Yeah, protects the people.
It just protects
Is the
exactly,
goal.
protects
Yeah.
the people.
Got a girl on a train.
Stick together.
That one
Sarah.
wasn't.
Oh, the one screener you
Yeah,
got?
that was my one screener that we got.
Oh man, I thought you were bringing up a whole different
No,
Yeah,
topic
yeah.
of
The other
girl
thing.
who
Yes.
an AC who got killed.
Yeah, that's what we were
Oh,
talking about.
Sarah
Oh
Jones.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
That is tragic and still one of. It's like
was a
it's always a wake up call in
that-
terms of
yeah.
safety and.
That was
that was independent.
That was a huge thing. Yeah, I don't think it was union, but that was like a reason people are like this stuff like that needs to be union, because like
Yeah.
they need to make sure that people are being safe, not doing these crazy things. Because if it was a union show, they have to make sure that everything's permitted and they have this and that, and
Yeah.
safety is number one. They're
Yeah.
making sure people aren't just standing on train tracks that someone said, oh, we're pretty sure these are abandoned,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden a train.
If
goes
you
barreling
guys,
down.
If you don't know-
if you guys want to be filmmakers, look into the Sarah Jones. Sarah Jones story.
Sarah
Yeah.
Jones, yeah.
Sarah
Yeah.
Jones.
Because it's a tragic story. It was a wake up call for everyone in the film industry. But we
Huge.
should
Move
roll
on.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another boring life asks, if you got to choose between the two, one, having a rock solid and safe installation with not really good composition, or two, having unstable installation with an ultra amazing shot, which would you choose?
Unstable insulation.
Installation.
Installation. I think it's
Oh.
talking about like an unstable rig to get a really great shot, or having a stable rig to get so composition.
Well, first off, it all depends on it definitely depends on the stability.
related.
If it's unstable, most people won't do it because you're going to endanger the lives of
Exactly.
crew and actors on
If
set.
unstable means unsafe,
You'll
safety
never
is
do
always
it.
the priority.
You'll never do it.
Yeah, it's just a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people try to go above and beyond and convince people like, oh, we can do this, like it's fine. And sometimes it can be to a point, but other times it's not. You just always really have to worry about safety. and trying to come up with getting the right tools to make that shot happen. You have this crazy angle you want to do. There's usually a way to always do it, and there's usually always a safe way to do it. You just have to collaborate and talk and ask questions and try to figure it out.
Yeah, don't rush anything either. That factors into the stability of the thing. Take the time to just stable it if you can.
And that's the one thing about that people never seem to really catch on to until you're actually on a film set or whatever. People don't realize how long it does take to actually film. Even a 2-3 minute video that's 3 days, 2-3 days of work sometimes, depending on what kind of technical aspects you want out of it. My parents came and they saw a live taping of Last Man Standing or something. And my parents were like, sweet, it's a half-hour show. We'll be out of here in like 45 minutes. I was like, well, no.
Yeah.
It's a half-hour show after they've cut it all together. It takes 6 hours to film that half-hour show.
Yeah. I had a friend who was a contestant on Whiplash, the obstacle course show.
Awesome, yeah.
So he made it to the final round, but he didn't get to actually do his run until 5 a.m. and the water was like freezing.
Ice cold.
Yeah, it took that long. It takes a long time.
It's movie magic, man.
It takes a long time.
Yep.
It's movie magic.
I was like, whoa,
and
5
all the
a.m.
other stuff.
It's like you look at it and you see him now. It's like, dude, that guy's cold and tired.
Right.
Doesn't give a.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care anymore.
He's over it.
Yeah, he got knocked off
right,
pretty
I'm gonna-
quick. Anyway, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Takes
jump
a long
around a little
time.
bit.
Yeah, jump.
Yeah.
Jump.
Did you have another point?
No, I was just going to say, make sure it's safe. Always never compromise, safety of people for a shot.
Yes, that is the larger lesson.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that is
Always
the
be
rule
safe.
for which you apply to
ABS.
filmmaking.
ABS.
It's not just brakes on your car.
Yeah.
Always be safe.
Always be.
safe.
The Gasbot asks, I'm looking to get into G&E or AC since graduating university in the UK. Do you recommend just finding experience on productions?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I did it. When I graduated university, I drove out here within like a month of graduating, and I knew a couple people that were out here working on super low budget independent features, and I got on as a PA. Wasn't getting paid, I was an intern, and worked on it. And just the biggest thing about the film industry is it's all about who you know. Doesn't matter how stacked your resume is. If somebody knows somebody has a connection with somebody, they're usually always going to go with that person.
Plus, you got a good attitude.
Yeah, you just got to be personable, smile, like talk to people,
what's that?
engage. The film industry is a very social game. You can have people that are really, really good at their task, at what they do, but if they can't kind of, I refer to it as a game, can't play the game and can't like talk with people, can't socialize with people, people don't want to be on set for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week with these people.
Yeah.
Like I had that happen to me when I was a PA. I was a PA. I was, competent. I was good. I was like, whatever. But I would always shoot the poop
Stuff.
with people, shoot the stuff.
Yeah.
And my producer was like, hey, we got this other feature going on right after this. We start up in 2 weeks. We want to hire you on. And I was like, well, what about this other guy? You guys have known him longer, and he's so much better. And they look over at him, and he's hard at work, like organizing and labeling all these walkies and stuff. And they're like, yeah, he's good, but like, we really like hanging out with you more. And I was like,
Oh man.
okay.
Woof.
That's pretty much what it boils down
I
to
mean, it
at
is.
the end of the
Really
day.
There's definitely a social aspect.
You gotta.
If you don't click with people, it's hard. And if you like to, be quiet and stay in the corner, you're gonna have a tougher time. So get out there, socialize, like go to places, go to mixers, go to whatever, just meet people. Like my one thing is, if anybody ever asked me to like go have a beer, anybody on the crew when I first started out, they're like, hey, we're all going to here so and so after work. I was always like, yes. Didn't matter what time it was, how tired I was, how early I had to be up in the morning. You go out, because then you're building a relationship with those people and they remember you. And that's how I ended up getting job after job. My first 3 to 6 months out here were all unpaid work. I think by the last movie, I did like 7 features in a row. It was like by like the 4th or 5th one, they started paying me like $50 a day.
Yeah.
So it's
And that's a lot when you're doing nothing, or when you're making nothing. Yeah.
And, make friends with the departments you're in. Don't bother them. There's always a time and place, but go and talk. For me, I was interested in lighting, I guess. So I always went to the grip and electric guys. I was like, hey, if you guys need help with anything, let me know. I'd love to learn. And of course, they're like, get out of here. Don't touch our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, blah, blah. But eventually, after I broke them down, after a week or two of being on set with them,
Broke
they were
them
like,
down.
All right.
I'm not going away that easy.
See that big crate of heavy metal stuff? Like, yeah. They're like, all right, pick that up and follow me.
Cool.
And it's like, okay.
All right.
Figure it out. I'll figure it out.
So yeah, that's what I would say. Definitely get on set, go do it for free, intern, volunteer. That's how you meet people, and that's how you'll build relationships.
Yeah, I have a networking. This is Trisha. I'm behind the.
She's over here.
Should we pan?
I can roll it.
Yes, Trisha,
Pan.
Trisha!
She's back there.
Good.
I can't.
There's a
see
delay.
off the top of my head.
Do any trucks? Yes. Require CDL? Yes, some do.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, look,
So,
Marianne, when they're talking about like who you know, somebody can't get you a job if they don't know you exist. So that's kind of his point
Yeah.
about like meeting people and talking and socializing and doing all that. Is that's like it is you want to be a good, nice person, of course, but also be good at your job. But you have to do that extra work so that people know who you are to be able to give you a job.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thanks, Trisha.
Thanks, Trisha.
Thanks, Trisha.
Back to us. You're supposed to say back to you guys, but
God, Trisha.
back to you guys.
Back to you guys.
Man, that's an extreme angle on Trisha.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, I had
whoa.
to
Love it.
I had to get there.
Dutch.
Wow.
Super Dutch.
I'm so
That's a Dutch angle in case anyone.
Dutch angle.
Keely Stanley
Canted.
asks, what are your favorite lights to use? Or maybe even just handle. Do you have favorites? The lightest
I
ones?
mean, no.
Does
Yeah,
lightest mean
sometimes.
easiest or favorite
It honestly
mean easiest?
lightest and easiest. It really all depends. Coming from an electric standpoint, like gaffing stuff. It really depends on what I'm trying to shoot. Whatever's gonna make my life easiest and quickest on that day. And I have lights that I do like to use. Like right now, I've been sticking small. The LEDs have been getting really great lately.
these panels or what?
Low wattage, not even just those, but just like the LED lighting is getting huge. Mole Richardson, it's a big lighting company. They have a 10,000 watt LED. Well, I mean, it's equivalent to a 10K, which is a big light. It's a really big light. It needs a lot of power. And I think it doesn't have that much output. Like you can literally plug it into wall power, house, like a regular circuit.
It won't trip anything.
Doesn't happen. Normally, normal wall circuit is 20 amps, which is 2,000 watts. So you can't plug usually anything bigger than a 2,000 watt light. And even that you don't want to do because that's maxing it out. So like a 10,000 watt light, you can plug in, you need, 5 different circuits to be able to plug it in. So to be able to plug in something that's that strong into house power is really nice. It's really great. It requires less generators, which is less transportation because they don't have to drive a truck to carry the generator over to it all just builds all these costs.
Wow.
But some lights that I'm interested in that I use a lot lately are like M18s, which is an airy light. It's like it's a very powerful HMI. Jokers are another HMI, 800 jokers, 400 jokers. They have a 1600 now. I'm trying to think what the company's actual name is. I know it, 5600, I forget.
Numbers.
Also, as a heads up, I know there's a lot of terminology that we're saying right now and terminology that was in this morning's video, but we are shooting another video this next week that goes over all that terminology. So
At least a handful of it. And if we ever miss anything, just shout it out, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like airy lights. Like sky panels are a big one that are going around. It's another LED. It's an airy. It's got I believe like a 4K equivalent output, and it's only like 450 watts. So you can plug. But this is all getting super technical now. There's all kinds of lights, lots of lights. Licos, I
people
always
are
like
interested.
to have. A Lico is like a Shakespeare stage lighting. You can get it really defined. But there's a bajillion kinds of lights, and you'll use them for it all comes down to what, where, how much you have. All that.
Should I just do a recap of what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yes, I was just going to do that.
Boom.
Hello. Okay, if you're just joining us or joined in and don't know what's happening, we're the Rocket Jump Film School. We're doing our live stream every Thursday. This is Dom, our friend, who's
guys.
a gaffer. He works in G&E, Grip and Electric, and we're just taking questions about working in the Grip and
Working in
Electric
the
department.
industry and Grip and Electric is what I'm good at. But
We might demo some stuff.
we'll try to demo some stuff.
maybe.
Should we demo some stuff real quick and then go into questions again?
Yeah, we have some fun stunt questions that will be interesting.
Stunt questions.
So I saw Brittany.
Brittany,
Brittany, I saw your stun question, and it's like that's not specifically Grip and Electric, but to answer it, she asked. Here, I'll find it. Blah 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 blah.
She asked how do you get the character, like the actors to look like.
What's-
stunt
yeah.
performers to look like that.
With stunt doubles, how do they make them look like a character they are doing stunts for? Usually,
That's hair and makeup.
yeah, it's in costume.
Costuming,
it's-
hair and makeup.
They have the exact same costume. They have a double of
Yep.
the duplicate of the costume that the character is wearing.
Yep.
Then they make their hair look the same. They're usually cast to look like
Look
the
them. They'll
actor or
get
actress.
wigs. They'll get sometimes fake prosthetics on their face.
Yep.
Yeah, you should do a demo because now we're getting into
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
I don't know what I can demo. I'll do a.
And then Brittany, just so you know, then they shoot it from certain angles, so it's all cinematography and planned out.
I feel like I did do that C-stand. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Anything right around in this
I did a
world here.
C-stand video. That was another good one. Actually, someone complimented me about that. Oh my gosh, Robert. Do you guys remember Robert?
Dude, we shot that on set. That was
We did shoot
crazy.
that. We
Wait,
shot that
what?
on the spaceship set of Rocket
The
Jump,
C-stand
show.
video.
Oh.
C-stand
yeah.
with Derek, my
Yeah.
buddy Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dirk.
that was Dirk.
Dirk.
I'm trying to think of what I can do. So this is a C-stand. We talked about it in our C-stand video.
I mean, I always forget you're supposed to weigh it a certain way, right? Like,
Wait, what? C-stands are used for pretty much
Everything.
everything. I believe I've said it. It's just going to be all repeat info. If you go
Yeah.
back and watch
no,
the
which is
video, I say
okay.
it.
Yeah. Totally.
The C stands for century. Century, obviously, CENT is a root word. We're getting some vocab for,
Dang.
100. So everyone always says, it's a century stand because there's 100 different things, 100 different ways to use it and apply it into set life. The main thing, obviously, it's got 3 legs, 3 different level legs. The big leg is the most important one. That's where you always kind of want the weight to be distributed to. So right now, I'll show you an example. Here we have light panel. It's not a crazy heavy light, but it definitely has some weight to it. We're gonna attach it to this C-stand and we're gonna make sure it's safe. So this light panel has what you call a baby receiver. All right, here we go. I don't know if you have a zoom lens or not.
It's not that good.
Is this in my?
That's better.
Okay, so this is a baby receiver. Baby pin, baby receiver. There's usually two main fittings you'll have, baby and junior. It's what they refer to as everything. So when you see like grip equipment that says like baby this, baby that, it's that equipment for a baby size. Or if it's a junior this, like a junior C-clamp, it's like the junior fittings for that. So this is a baby on the
so
C-stand.
cute.
Yeah. The C-stand, so I'm gonna rig this, put it out. I'm inverting my arm. There's an arm and a head on a C-stand. The head is the part that goes up top. The arm is all one piece. So as you can see, if I could take the arm out and the arm is soldered together, or whatever. So it's all one piece. This is the arm. This is the head. The head can come off, whatever. Use this for a lot of rigging. So here we go.
It's like making a Connects all day for your job.
It's basically
Sorry.
making a rig for, grip stuff is essentially just like big kid Legos. It's high stakes Legos and Connects.
High stakes Legos.
Is there any way to make like a do-it-yourself C-stand?
Yeah, I saw that question.
I have, short answer, probably not.
I mean, it wouldn't be a C-stand. You could still do a stand and then like clip stuff to a sturdy stand, but it wouldn't be a C-stand.
No, but yeah.
Unless you wanted to fuse it yourself. I don't know.
If you don't have access to this type of equipment, you can't afford it. I guess they're kind of asking like, what could they make?
Well, then you start getting into like DIY stuff. You can make a ton of stuff. You won't have a stand or something, but like you can people make all kinds of housings with like woods. Like they'll like chop up wood and fuse or like glue like a. Oh my God, I can't think of the word right now. Spacing.
Plastic?
Not
Metal?
a socket. No, the light bulb fixture.
Oh, like
Chandelier.
we clearly don't know the word.
Oh my God, I'm failing everyone.
like when you
right now.
twist out a bulb and then the thing inside.
Yeah, and I don't know, the porcelain, it's a porcelain socket, I think we'll refer to that. I'll take, porcelain sockets rated for whatever, bigger light bulbs and you can put a bunch of them on one thing. And, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, like DIY. People will get like the clamp lights and use those and clamp them to different things and tighten those up. And you always want to put diffusion on them, which is another thing. You always put diffusion on lights. Direct light is super harsh and causes shadows and blah, blah, blah. You always want to diffuse light using like, if you have a hard light, like a bed sheet would be good. People use like, if it's like a small light, you can put a bunch of like, oh my gosh, what are they called? Dryer sheets.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen people do like that. There's like any kind of like.
Well, that stuff, is that
Tracing
flammable
paper?
at all?
I mean, yeah, you can't get it too close to the light.
But
Like,
it's
but
designed to
you're
go
at
in the
home.
dryer, I guess. So
it is. I mean, there's all
I mean,
kinds
it'll
of
definitely
DIY.
catch fire, I think.
yeah.
if it's hot.
Keep an eye on it.
I mean, yeah, whatever. I've done it. That's
Basically, I think it's like to make I mean, sure, if you're really, really handy, you could do a DIY stand. The big thing is you want to make sure it's secure and safe and stable.
and you have to make sure you get the right sizes for everything.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like 3. What is it?
So I'm sure you could. I mean, ultimately, this is purely function. So if you replicated something that had the same function, sure, then it'd be a DIY stand. But it's not like you can also like a person holding a light. If you just have another crew member, would have the same function as
Short
a
answer: C-stand to making your own C-stand would be tough. But you can make a stand. You can figure something out yourself.
Safety first.
Safety first, though. Always sandbag everything. So anyway, back to, here we go.
Yeah.
Rigging a light with using a C-stand properly. Here we have our light. We have our baby. The end of the C-stand is essentially the same size as a baby pin, so you could fit, a baby receiver onto here, which is what this light is. So, if I'm lighting a scene, let's say I want to light towards you, Joey, and my C-stand base is something like this. If I turn this over and I'm like, oh man, I want to get this over here, loosen in the knuckle, put it out here, overhead. This is wrong. This is a wrong way to use this C-stand because we have our big leg, which should be under the weight, and it's not. It's opposite. So what will happen if I just let go of this? You'll see it's just ready to tip. It's ready to go. It wants to just go and crash because you have no support out front where the weight wants to lean to. So if I'm switching the legs and I put the leg out there, so now the leg is in the same spot as the arm wants to go with the light at the end of it. It's heavy. I can actually let go of it and it'll stay because the weight is all leaning on this leg right here. So it's good. Obviously it's not safe right now because if anybody gives it a little push, it'll probably want to go over. So you'll put your sandbag on here to weigh the leg down. And now this is out here and I could stick it up, turn the light on. The higher you go, the more weight you'll probably want to put on the legs. However, it depends on how heavy the light is and stuff. But boom, so we have a light that's kind of rigged overhead that works. Obviously, the main thing about C-stands is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, which we've covered before. Always want to have your knuckles on the right. The reason for that is, like, if I loosen this knuckle up, right, it's all loose. This thing is not going anywhere. If I have the light, I'm going to get it so it's just barely tight. If I let the light go here, it's tight. It's going to tighten itself, the handle. So now, if it was loose, it would have just fallen right off. But because it's going righty-tighty, it's tightening the light, the weight is tightening it, it'll lock it. If I swapped it and did the other side, if I could, whatever.
We'll just have the weight go back. Yeah, that
the
way.
weight goes this way, and the tightening is this way. If I leave it loose and let the weight go, it never tightens. It just goes all the way through because it's loosening up the handle here. But if I come up and it tightens it, boom. I don't know. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Related, do you only put the weight on the larger leg or all of the legs?
You want to put it on the larger leg, when you can. Well, you should be putting it on the large leg always.
Yeah.
Always have the largest leg out where the weight is going to be.
And always bag the top leg?
Always bag. I mean, some people like to bag the smaller leg. It's not always necessary to bag the top leg. I mean, you should be bagging the big leg, but a lot of people I've seen a lot of grips and stuff put bags on the little leg. Mm-hmm. For me, I just always think.
Why do they do the little leg? Cause that.
Usually you can have smaller bags that don't touch the ground.
Yeah.
So and it helps. Just I never see anyone put anything on the little leg because it really doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. Goofs.
It's just like all your weight. The sand is pretty much all on the floor here, and so like this thing can just like slide out super easy like that. So the little leg, you always want to put on the big leg.
Why don't you want it to touch the ground?
Because then, it's essentially the same as like you're on a scale, right? You're standing on a scale. All your weight is on top of the scale, so you're at whatever your max weight is. If I'm standing on the scale right here, and I go like this, I'm going to drop 40, 50 pounds because I'm putting weight on this thing. Same thing with a sandbag. If a sandbag is on the floor, it's acting like my hands. and you're losing a lot of the weight, which you're trying to keep it on the ground. That's the best analogy I can think of. Yeah.
I should do that when I weigh myself.
Yeah.
I'll feel better.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's 30
Because
pounds.
everyone's done that. Like, do it on.
I'll use my hands.
A lot of people saying this is great. They were saying all the sandbag placement stuff, and then you were just
Going into it.
Yeah, you were nailing it. They're
Cool, nice, good. We're on the same page. Great minds think
they're
alike, guys.
they're reading your minds.
Awesome, I love it.
Blah 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 blah.
Let's do
Questions?
apple
Let's
boxes.
Any questions? Anybody got some?
Let's take a question.
Let's take a question.
This one's kind of a fun personal. Well, Hoda has asked us like all the time.
I'm single. Yes. Just kidding. Yeah,
Hoda asked, what tools do you make sure you always bring to set other than a pen to fill out your invoice?
Actually, I think that's another reason why I brought my bag.
Ooh.
That was actually one of the things I was gonna talk about.
Bam.
This is my bag. It's just a
Let me see.
nice little whatever DeWalt bag. It's really messy. You don't have to.
Do it on the apple box?
Yeah. Let's see what's in that bag, Dom. Throw it on the box here.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get in. Let's see what's in Dom's bag.
Let's see what I actually have in here because I need to clean this out.
It's like Mary Poppins now.
Here is my. It's a 36. It's like a precision screwdriver set. It comes in handy when you're dealing with like there's sometimes in lice there's a lot of tiny little screws, but generally you only need a few little things. Like the basic things that I carry with me is my tape roll, which I'll normally have. This is something I'm always carrying on me. It's just a little handmade thing. Usually people have like carabiners. I'll usually have paper tape, black paper tape, 2-inch black paper tape, photo black, because they have black paper tape that's reflective, and when you post that, it'll appear on camera. So if you have to tape something black against the wall and camera's going to see it, you need photo black because it'll just blend in with the black background. You won't see any kind of light reflecting off of it. If you just use like 2-inch black regular tape, you'll if the camera catches it at a weird angle, you'll be able to see some kind of reflection and it'll catch your eye and people will go, what the hell, what's that over there? So you always want to use photo black. I usually always have some gaff tape with me, 2-inch black gaff tape. I have electrical tape. If I ever need to tape up wires together or mark some cables sometimes, you'll have different colors of this, red, black, blue, yellow, all good colors, green. I have a bunch of cube taps, which come in handy. It's essentially just like a mini power strip. It does the same thing. You plug this into hot power and then it becomes 3 different plugs, which is nice.
Yeah, fancy.
Cool.
Fancy. I use these in my house all the time to plug stuff in instead of huge power strips.
Don't connect too many.
So usually I have a carabiner. I'll have a carabiner on this, and I clip it into my belt loop here, and it'll be hanging. And then anytime people are like, "You got tape?" I'm like, "Yep, always got it." You always want to be ready. So this is one thing I carry all the time: my tape roll. Another little thing, a blade. I don't know if I have one on me today. Like people call them box cutters or whatever. There's this one I really like. It's from Home Depot, I think.
Is it a multi-tool?
Husky. People use multi-tools. People have them. They're great because they have the pliers and the scissors and whatever, like a wave. It's a nice multi-tool. But I had one and I accidentally walked into a Hawks game with it. Hawks were playing the Kings one time and I got off work and I rushed over there and it was in my pocket and I forgot it was in there and it got confiscated and I lost my $50, $60, $80 multi-tool, which stunk.
That's a bummer.
Bummer.
Yeah, but a blade. So because essentially a box cutter, a smaller one that's not like a huge whatever you can fit in your pocket. You always want to have the blade inside of your pocket and the clip facing out, so you don't catch it on anything. It doesn't get caught and open up and cut you because they're super sharp. I don't know if I have mine on me. It might be in my car. But this is another good thing. So a blade is always key. You always need a blade. You're always cutting gels and diffusion and chopping stuff up with that. Tape roll, cube taps. This is an Allen key set. Some people have speed wrenches, which are specific sizes, but this has done me pretty good. So you have all different Allen keys that just come out and fold out that you use for tightening lots of bolts and screws and all kinds of frames. Like if you're going to do a 6x6 frame or an 8x8 or a 12x12, a lot of them you have to use an Allen key to tighten the ears and corners, which the corners make the frame square, and the ears you'll be able to clip it into a stand, which we'll go over in that video coming up next week, what ears and corners are. So an Allen key set is always pretty good. the one you use the most, the key that I use the most is the 3/16. That one uses, it's pretty much, it's the standard one for most film stuff, this 3/16. So you can get a speed wrench, it'll be easier. It's like a socket wrench with this attached to it and just makes things a lot quicker.
James Hastings has that exact same Allen key tool.
Yeah, the thing about grip and electric stuff is you can get a lot of it just from, it's just tools. They're just everyday tools you get from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, Ace Hardware, wherever. So that is always good. Another great thing, hopefully I have it with me. I've been running around a lot.
Is that a glove?
That is gloves. Gloves are always good. I don't think I have my crescent wrench, which is like the main thing you need, like a good crescent wrench or a good wrench. You're always tightening bolts and doing things like that. So a crescent wrench is key. A good flashlight is key.
Whoa.
You want to have a strong, in case you're out on a night shoot and you're going to need that. Or a headlamp, a lot of people have. I believe mine is in here somewhere.
Mary Poppins.
My bag is a mess, guys. I'm sorry.
Mary Poppins. Crescent wrench.
Clean and
6
tidy
inches.
grip trucks.
Clean, tidy grip trucks, but my bag is a mess. I'm working a lot.
Hey,
What's that?
it's your function. Oh, that's one of those things. It's on the meter.
This, the slang, no, mine's kind of broken. My new one's coming in today, actually, because I think this one's just starting to go.
Wattage, voltage meter?
It's a voltage tester. It's more referred to as a sniffer. I don't know why. Sniffs out the power, I guess. It's called a sniffer on set, and people use them all the time. Essentially, what you do is.
Can we demo it on one of these power cords over here?
Sure.
That's that.
If it would, if I need to, it's all broken. It's got jammed up in my thing.
What do we got here?
Okay, let's see. Let's see if this will work. If this is on. So, this is fitting here. Okay, it's off. Okay, on now. So, see, nothing going on. It's just sitting here. It's whatever. It's on though. We use it. Nope. Okay, this one is just actually super broken now.
It's broken.
That's why I ordered my new one.
But in theory,
In theory, what it does, you can touch this to stick it into an outlet, and it'll light up red. It'll beep like beep 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 beep, going, yes, there's power. It's hot. It's a hot line.
That's so cool.
The other thing that's
it's
great
a magic wand.
Yeah.
it is essentially, you can literally, if this is usually a cable, like a stinger or something, let's say you plug in, that light panel, you plug in a light, right? Turn it on, nothing happens. What do? You have to troubleshoot it. You have to figure out, okay, what's wrong with the light? First off, is the power working? Do we have power? You can go to the outlet. I don't know. You'll see if there's any lights. If you have a ballast, if there's any lights on, you'll be like, oh, the lights are on. There's power. Or you go to the outlet, stick this in here. Nothing happens. It doesn't turn red. You're like, oh, well, there's no power to the outlet. The circuit's off, or the breaker's down, or we popped it, or something. If you're at the light, you can touch the cable next to the light and it'll light. Anytime it touches a hot cable, the copper in it, it reacts and it'll go beep, 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 and you're like, oh, cable's hot. If that's it, so the cable's hot, you have power, you go to the next step there down the line. If there's a ballast, check the ballast. If something might be wrong with the ballast, it might be off. A breaker might be off. It might just be a fried ballast, which is never good. But let's say the ballast is working, you have lights on, you're just like, oh man, okay, it must be something with the head. You go up to the head, check it, jiggle the switches a little bit, see if anything's loose, if you have a short. If that's not it, turn off the power, check the bulb. The bulb is probably out. I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with all that.
That's
It's all
awesome.
random
No, it's really
stuff.
interesting.
Identify the
Troubleshooting.
source of the problem, and
Assess.
that'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sniffers are great because that's the one thing. If you don't have a sniffer and you can't be like, well, I don't know if the power's hot or not.
You just gotta try everything.
You gotta let's plug this cable into another outlet and see if it turns on then. Sniffer's great because you're like, okay, there's power here. I know that for a fact. This tool is meant to tell you that, and it has power. So it's not that. So a sniffer is always a nice tool. They're like $15, $20 on Amazon. I use a Klein Tools one. It's really nice.
Nice.
But there's all kinds.
Sniffer.
So a sniffer, crescent wrench, Allen key set, tape roll, cube taps. I usually have, they have a worse name. I'm just gonna call them diagonal cutters. They call them something different in the film world. There's a lot of not great film terms that people use that are not supposed to be used.
Oh.
They've been around for a while, just cause.
Been around for a while, and people are like, well, why do they call it that? And you're like, well, I don't know why, but it's very sexist or very not good. I don't know.
Wonder what it could be.
This one? Yeah, I don't know why they call them that, but
Diagonal cutters.
diagonal cutters, I guess, or wire cutters. They're always good. Obviously, that's what I use them for, cutting wire and stuff.
Cutting wire.
Ooh.
I have a staple gun. It's not necessary, but if you're a grip, it's nice. It's nice to have. It always comes in handy. Every once in a while, you're gonna need to staple some stuff. Obviously, a screwdriver, like a multi one with a Phillips head and a flat head is always good. You could pop it out. You know, I think this one is not one of those. I lost my good one, but this is a Phillips head, and you can pop it out, flip it, and it'd be flat head. You'll need that a lot. And what did I say? Gloves, crescent wrench. Those are kind of like the basics. Clothespins, C47s. I have a huge bag of them in here that I just always use them for lighting. You know, you're always clipping on diffusion and gel and everything. And they're just regular clothespins. They call them bullets, C47s.
Bullet.
Seepers. Bullet!
Disarmed.
Joey, I'm gonna wing your shoulder.
Wing 'em.
And disarmed.
This is a buddy of mine. This is my friend Tony's, the guy who I shot that repatch video with on video game. This is a light meter. Gaffers will use this a lot. They're very expensive. They're nice. It's incandescent reading here.
What's the meter in the room?
Meter in the room.
What does that mean? What do you do with that information?
It depends what your ISO is. So I'm going to assume.
800.
Essentially, what you do is you set what the camera's at. What ISO are you at, Joey?
800.
You're at 800, which is a standard. Everyone usually is always shooting 800 ISO. That's a very base. So I set it to that. Right now, I'm going to take a meter reading. We're at an 8. At 24 frames a second, at an 800 ISO, we're reading at about an 8. The stop is about an 8. What's your stop at, Joe? Do you know? 5.6? 5.6/8 split?
It's a 4.5.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Joey.
It's
Right.
bright.
It is bright, yeah. 'Cause I'm reading, like, right in my face right here, I'm reading an 8.
Do somewhere else. Do something darker.
Oh, now, see? Yeah, that's like a little...
It's bright.
Do
here.
something dark,
Yeah,
okay.
it's bright.
If I go back here, I'm blocking all the light. Back here is like a 2,
Whoa.
which is low.
Yeah.
We're talking about f-stops. If you don't know what f-stops are,
That's another video.
that's camera stuff.
Yeah.
Basic f-stops are like 2, 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, 11, 16. I think those are all the standard f-stops.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just essentially, those we work with those too a lot. Gaffing. You set your camera. It's like, oh, what do you want to shoot this at? DPs are like, oh, I'm trying to shoot like a 2.8/4 split. I'm keeping it kind of dark. I want to have a long depth of field, I want to have shallow depth of field. Blah blah blah, all that jazz. That's like you said, a whole separate.
Whole nother.
That gets into like gaffing and camera and ACing and all whatever. But light meters are really good. They're a really good tool for a gaffer. You'll always be needing it. You want to make things uniform, make sure things are lit the same. If you're have a moving shot at like a handheld shot or something, and they're going through different rooms, like you want to make sure like if they go into the next room that they won't have to like do an iris pull or something in the middle of the shot. So you want to make sure you'll have to light based on that and stuff. But yeah, light meter, really good. Sectonic, right? Yeah, Seconic, that's it.
Seconic.
That's it. They're really expensive though, but you can find like analog ones and whatever that'll still help. But yeah, that's kind of like a basic things you'll need. Like I said, Allen key set, diagonal cutters, crescent wrench is really good. Tape, cube taps, which you can buy probably somewhere, or whatever. Gloves are always good. You don't want to cut up your hands, or me, I just
I don't
have
know why I'm counting.
Hot lights.
dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different types of gloves. Yeah, thin
Different.
gloves and hot hands, thick gloves. Flashlight's always good for nighttime, or a headlamp, so you don't have to hold the flashlight and you can
Or
still
if you're
work.
somewhere dark too, like a
Yeah.
dark room.
Yeah.
Headlamp for sure.
And sniffer. Yeah, sniffer's always good.
Sniffer.
Sniffers are great. I just love sniffers. I use them around my house a lot of times. Like if I blow
for
a fuse.
fun?
Oh, like if I'm like it's a really quick assess.
Hey, is this PlayStation on?
Man, why isn't the PlayStation turning on? Is the power good? No, outlet's dead. Let's put in another one, man.
Yeah, we gotta get another
I don't know
PlayStation.
why I went to that.
There's so many
Yeah,
questions.
All
Good.
right.
I'll
We're ready for
answer.
some.
Dude,
well,
pull up-
one. They did,
Pull up that Apple box.
well, they
It's,
wanted to ask about Apple boxes. Can
Oh.
they? So, what are Apple boxes used for? And can you show the various setups? New York, Chicago, LA.
Setups. Yeah, okay. So an Apple box is it's just a box, a wooden box that gets used for all kinds of things. So this is what you call a full Apple box. I don't know the dimensions of it because I'm not really
The biggest one.
It's a
But
full apple.
It is a full apple. This is the biggest one. This is a half of an apple. So as you can see, it is legitimately half the size. It is the exact half of one full. So 2 halves obviously make a full in math. Whatever. They also have
Whatever.
whatever wasn't
math.
my subject. So then they have another one which we didn't bring in, but there's a quarter apple box, which is a half of a half, and then there's a pancake or an eighth of an apple box, and that is the shortest one. It is just a very thin, whatever. Apple boxes you use all the time to level things out, to raise things, to have actors stand on. Tom Cruise is always standing on apple boxes because he's.
But you didn't hear it from us.
5'5" or something. He's 5'6". He's a very short guy. But actors always stand on it for eye lines and stuff, because if they're standing, you have, I don't know, Shaq, who's
Sure, stand next to Tom.
6 whatever.
On just where?
So just
Stand
next
right
to
here.
him. Yeah, just right next to him. So we'll just.
So if you're doing when they use them the most is usually in
Okay.
OTS shots.
Square off, yeah.
Yeah, face me. It's like an over-the-shoulder shot or something. It'd be here, or I guess camera's over
That
here.
shoulder.
If we're sticking a 180-degree rule, be over here. And if they're matching up to my shoulder in camera might be like right up to your mouth, and it'll be blocking your face, and it'll be a really ugly composition. So people are like, oh crap. Okay, step over to the left. And it's like, okay, I'll step over here. It's like, okay, your shoulder's still in there. We can see you, but you're still blocking part of her face. So let's get her up. Let's put her on a half apple. So
Yay.
the grips will come in, half apple, slide them in, boom.
Now she's a little taller.
See, now she's too tall. I mean, a half apple is too much,
But-
obviously.
Yeah.
But she would, that would essentially probably be a quarter.
Yeah.
Quarter would probably be good. And then she would just boost her up enough to get her jawline out of my shoulder if you're back here doing it over the shoulder. And so her head would be here and my shoulder would kind of be here, and it would be a nice composition.
So that's essentially what they do in some of the cases for over-the-shoulder type of stuff for Tom Cruise or anyone else.
Yeah.
Anyone, just to
Lots of
sort of
other
tie
actors.
that back in. That's sort of the situation
Yeah.
that you could find.
They're multi-use.
They are. They use everything. We drill into them a lot, like pancakes. You'll make a beaver board out of them, essentially.
Whoops.
I'm sorry. Beaver board is one of those terms you're not supposed to use. You're not supposed to call it a beaver board. But essentially, a lot of times, this will be a pancake. This is just a piece of wood but this is the size of a pancake, which is, I don't know, like an inch, less than an inch.
It's like the thinnest
It's the
apple
thinnest
box you can
apple
get.
box size you'd get. But you'll drill a baby plate, which is this, baby, like we said earlier, baby pin. This is the plate, so you call it a baby plate. Drill it in, and then you put a light onto here, just like so. It's good because usually
Keep it
people
so.
put stuff on like to uplight a wall or something. So it'd be a tree. Uplighting trees is a huge one you use beaver boards for. You'll put a light on it and uplight a tree in a nighttime scene or something. It'll look cool. But yeah, back to apple boxes. There's like three different ways to lay an apple box. And everyone has their own way of saying it. Some people call it, 1, 2, and 3. But the way that I normally refer to it, which still is under immense scrutiny and debate in the world, you have the flattest way you put it, right? This is the lowest the full apple box will go. It's the lowest you can have it. The flattest, it's got the most surface area, whatever. Some people like to refer it as LA style, because LA County, if you didn't know, is the most widely spread county in the U.S. It's huge. So this is LA County. You go
This
big.
is so insidery.
I know. So the next one you do, you get a little higher, but not the highest position. The second position would be Chicago, because it is neither New York or LA. And I'm from Chicago, so just having a name in one of them I actually love. But it's a little bit of BS because Chicago is so much cooler than both of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Well, I can respect your hometown pride.
It's hometown pride. Let's go Cubs, World Series, baby.
Oh my
So
God.
this is number 2. This would be Chicago. So you have LA, wide, flat, lowest. Chicago, number 2. And then you have New York, obviously, Empire State Building, tall city, whatever. It's the tallest one. I'm assuming that's what they call it.
So if someone's on
Salt
set
City.
and
So
they're
be like,
holding
"Give me-"
something and they're like,
No, give me an apple box, New York.
New York,
And I'll
yeah.
be like, okay, I know you need it for, know you need it this size. Like, oh, give me, like, let me get like two apples, like LA. So you'd be like, oh, LA, okay.
So you line up
You
two.
line them up too, like here and here. Whenever you're putting two apple boxes together, usually for actors, sometimes they'll make like a platform. You'll have like, 4 apple boxes lined up together so they can like walk across it or something. You'll always want to tape up the boxes together because apple boxes do tend to slide a little bit on the floor. So you want to tape them together just to make sure that nothing shifts, nothing as like they're walking across it. Because the last thing you want as like a grip is you put apple boxes down and actors are walking across them and all of a sudden one of them slips out and the actor falls and breaks their leg or chips their tooth or something, and then you're sure as hell fired, probably.
Tyson Miller says, "Go Cubs."
Yeah.
In Chicago, his
Tyson.
avatar is the Cubs.
Love that.
Yes. Sure.
He says, "I like him a lot more now."
2017, baby. It's coming.
Oh my God.
I was there. I drove there. I
Lauren
drove there.
asks, "What would you use New York for?" Sorry, I cut you off.
What would I use New York for? I mean, all
Sitting.
Lots of people use them for sitting. I think that was actually, there was one point during Rocket Jump the show, we were filming at Paramount Ranch. It was fun. There's a picture of me when they turned me into a camera operator for like one of the scenes. But we were super far away from our truck and all of our gear, and we had like this Gator. It's a little like this heavy duty golf cart or something. It has a little truck bed in the back of it. So I threw in a bunch of apple boxes. I knew we were going to need stuff. I just threw in a bunch of basic packages. Threw in a bunch of apple boxes, and I remember I got up. I literally like walked 10 feet, and I was like, oh, going to need an apple box. I walked back. They were all gone. I put like 6 full apples in the back of this cart. And they were all gone. And I start looking around, and everyone had just grabbed them, and I just see everyone sitting on their phone, just looking. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, guys, get up. I need these.
That's
So people on set
amazing.
always, they see an
Yeah.
apple box, like you need to ask. You should ask.
Yeah, you
Anytime
should
you need
always
to
ask.
touch or do anything with any other department, as a department person, you should be asking them. That's a big no-no, especially for like union rules. Like if I'm, I don't know, camera. No, see, because camera always just grabs apple boxes. Camera.
No,
don't.
I've seen camera operators like grab them and sit on them to operate.
Yeah, they
you
do.
know, so when they're using it for
Camera
making the
purposes.
movie.
Technically, they should be asking grip side, like, hey, grip, can I get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't I not allowed to touch something if I'm not?
Yeah.
In union world, you literally can't. You can be grieved against, which is essentially a grievance is when they file a complaint against you, and it can bring about all kinds of repercussions. I remember when I was first working on The Voice, I was a PA, and layout board is like such a big mystery that nobody knows. Every department is like essentially in charge of it. They say, like there's a grip team that's like, okay, they come in and they do the layout board. But then there's like an art team that's like, no, they're the floor guys. They're the ones who are in charge of it. So if you need it laid out, they have to do it. And some productions are like, no, the PAs do it. So all the PAs,
Can get a little crazy.
like
That's why you
different
need
equipment,
department heads.
different departments get all kinds of, they intermingle or whatever. So I was laying down layout board, some RAM board, and I had this female grip come up to me. She goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just laying out RAM board because I'm not supposed to walk on this floor." And she goes, "Yeah, well, you're taking away another job that a grip should be doing right now." So I'm filing a grievance, and I was like, "What?" This is like literally 2 months, 3 months into my.
You got one strike?
Well, I mean,
Are you in
I
the
don't think
system right
anything.
now?
I don't know if it ever went through,
What's the
but she
statute of limitations on
that
it?
was my thing. I was like,
Grievance.
what is a grievance? And I was talking to people, and they're like, yeah, she's gonna go complain to the union and something. And it was all this.
No.
It's a bummer.
So apple
Sorry.
boxes you can use for everything. One thing that people use them for, you're technically not allowed. You should not be doing it because it's technically dangerous. Is standing on them to get up to places. According to, I believe it's like union rules. Workman's comp is a huge thing. But apparently, if you're on an apple box and you fall off and get injured, you don't qualify. I don't know if it's true. It's a rumor I've heard that you don't qualify for workman's comp, even if you were on the job, because you were not using your equipment the right way, because you're not supposed to actually stand on an apple box. But I do
Only if
see,
it's
I do
LA?
see, I
You
do
can't
see,
stand on it in New
I do
York.
see lots of people stand on apple boxes. Like, it can be dangerous. I mean, look at that. I'm barely
Yeah.
doing anything. And it's
I've done it.
wobbling.
I'm guilty.
Right, we all have. We've all done it.
Yeah.
It can support your weight.
But yeah, this is not ideal
I
for.
don't
Ooh.
like it.
But-
Yeah.
You're technically, you should not you should be not doing it. If you are going to do it, make sure someone's around you to hold
spot you,
to
yeah.
spot you. That's another thing. Same with ladders. You always have somebody holding your ladder in case anything happens. Oh my God, I'm going to need
Awesome.
a sip of water.
You want to go get water? Go get it.
Well, I think
we'll keep talking.
I think we got a few more questions,
We
and
got
we're
a lot
gonna
more
wrap
questions.
it up.
Go get water.
Yeah.
Go get water.
Okay.
We'll keep you entertained.
I'll be right back.
Do you wanna try and
I
catch
do. I want
bullets?
to keep answering questions though. I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going too
Yeah,
deep.
we got good questions.
All right. Well,
Do you want to?
You want to tell some
Do you want-
people what's going on just in case we
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Hello. Hello. If you're just joining us, we're the Racket Jump Film School, and today we're live streaming some Q&A with our friend Dom, who's not here right now. He's getting a drink.
Dom's
But he'll
getting
be
some
right
water.
back.
he'll be right back.
And we're talking about grip and electric, the department, any questions you have, proper protocol, C-stands, and just answering general questions.
Any
from
general
today's video.
questions? Yeah. We have Dom in the house, and that's what we're doing today.
Do you want to stand over there and try and catch a bullet?
All right. I can do it. I can catch a bullet.
Gut or shoulder?
Shoulder.
Shoulder?
Wing me in the shoulder.
Okay, wing you in the shoulder. Ready?
Yep. Oh! Oh, you shot me in the throat.
Joey!
I saw you aiming. Like
I was
knew.
trying to go over his shoulder.
Bull.
I was
Bull.
trying. I was not trying to
No,
purposely.
no, I saw you aiming
No,
at my
because
throat.
I was trying to go
I saw
over.
you
I was
aiming at my
trying to
throat.
go over to your shoulder. That was an accident, genuinely. I'll let you shoot me as apology. 'Cause
No,
that's how
look,
bad I feel.
if it's gonna make you feel better for me to shoot you, then I'll do it. But we don't.
No,
I don't need to
either.
shoot you to get you
No,
back.
I'm just trying to tell you.
Now that Dom's back, I think we should
Yeah.
answer
Yes.
Let's go. Let's
Good
let's
idea,
go. I'll be
Cherish.
quick.
I'm glad
I'll
we
be quick. I'll be quick.
frickin'
now. I'll do
did
some lightning.
that.
No, I genuinely was not trying to
I
hit the
saw
throat.
you
Sure.
aiming at my shoulder,
anyway.
at my throat when you pulled the trigger. So I don't know what you were doing.
I was
like, that ain't my shoulder.
I wasn't going
Boom.
for this shoulder. I was going for this shoulder.
No, I don't. You're
Okay,
wrong.
that's fine.
You're wrong. I saw where you were aiming.
Moving on.
Moving on. More questions. More questions. I love questions.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ryan Stanley asked, what project was the hardest to set up lights for, Dom? Do you have like any notoriously difficult stories?
Notoriously difficult stories. You know, I can't think of just one. I'm sure there's been a lot of times where you get peeled. Peeled is, you know, it's getting peeled is an industry term of like you are just getting beat up, like you are just nonstop sweating. I just did one. I don't know what it was for. Some like recreation for like the History Channel with my buddy. There were only 3 guys. There was 1 grip, 1 electric, and a swing, and we were all buddies. We were on this huge stage, DC Stages, downtown, which has like a million different stages everywhere. And they just kept going from set to set, and like so we would have to be on one set and then move to the next one and go light that set. But while we're lighting that set, we need to be tearing down this other set. So it was always like there was only like 1 guy on set while the other 2 were tearing down and rigging everything and running cable and getting like it was just. I think I walked 10 miles that day. On my phone said, checked my phone and it said I walked in like 9.9 miles just in a stage.
That's a grind.
Whoa.
I walked like 21,000 steps or something.
But going to bed felt good after a long day like that.
Shower
you know?
and bed,
It
go
was
to
amazing.
sleep.
So that was like 2 weeks ago.
Whoa, that was
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's
was like
fresh.
right when that was my first day back from
Dang. Chicago?
Christmas. Yeah.
Let me-
So
let-
that was like a wake up.
Let me ask a follow-up question. Have you ever had to use the bucket?
Use the bucket.
Yeah.
What do you mean the bucket? Like like in the condor? Like sit in the bucket?
Yeah. Use the bucket in a condor. As in, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I don't
it's-
know what you mean.
If you're not following me, you can end up in very like nature type of
Nature calls. When nature calls.
Yeah, when nature calls, you can end up in like very
Keep going on Ace Ventura.
you can end up in situations where you could be in a lift with some lights and stuff that you have to control,
up there for.
and you're up there for a few hours, and the bucket refers to the bathroom in a situation like that because you can't keep coming up and down if you're on a
The light if you're in the middle of a scene.
yeah.
See, I haven't worked with condors too often. I've only been on like twice or something, and I wasn't up there for a long time. But
That's good.
I feel like I've heard stories of people like literally like using a rope, like
Yeah.
being like, guys, I need literally get me a bucket.
Yeah, yeah. There's
And
always
then it's
the
like some
bucket.
old school before plumbing, like medieval times stuff.
Yeah.
Another question.
Another
Yes.
question.
Next question.
Okay, next question.
Good. I'm glad that.
Don't need to talk about anymore.
No.
I feel like this is pretty, I mean, this will vary, so you might not have the exact answer, but Kelly Well, Kelly Causey she already left, but she asked how much would a decent light setup cost? Because cost is kind of the biggest wall for me. I mean, if cost is the biggest wall for you, you can use lights around the house. You know.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can get creative. Get creative with it. You, like I said earlier, you know, you can go to like Lowe's or Home Depot and like get light bulbs and get lots of them together and kind of build your own kind of lights and stuff with sockets and you know, drilling into wood and running cable and stuff. That just goes into a little more in depth, like, and those kind of skills will help a lot in the film industry. Like it's called a covered wagon. It's a homemade light people use all the time. They use it like a lot of time for backdrops and stuff. It's like a plank of wood. There's two sockets glued or screwed into it, whichever. And then they have chicken wire going over the top. And then over the chicken wire, you lay your diffusion. A lot of times it's like muslin, which you can buy at a fabric store. There's bleached and unbleached, which bleached is white. Unbleached has like more yellowy kind of color to it. It's really
Canvassy,
nice.
yeah.
It's very canvassy, exactly.
Yeah.
Like burlap, kind of sacky type thing. They'll put that over it, so they'll turn the lights on. The lights will shine through it, and you'll get a really nice, soft kind of light. So that's one. It's called a covered wagon. People use those all the time. And you can make them as big or small as you want with as many light bulbs.
That's cool.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
That's
With the chicken wire, I like that.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's super homemade, super easy, super DIY.
Yeah. I've seen like China balls are super cheap.
China balls people love to use. They're great. It's another thing where, you know,
Good diffused light.
diffusion, exactly.
Yeah.
Soft light. You always want, you know, soft light's always good unless you're shooting like noir. hard
Like
shadows.
one of the things we did, so when we shot our video Harnessing the Sun, which you guys can check out on our channel, we played with stuff that was like just readily available, and everyone was super surprised at how well the bed sheet worked.
Yeah.
The,
Oh,
the
yeah.
white
The
bed
white
sheet
bed sheet.
was killer as diffusion.
Light's
Moving
strong.
on.
Moving on. Light's strong.
So yeah,
Kubrick Lover 1972,
Oh man,
which
this
is
guy,
a good
Good
username.
movies.
this guy
username.
probably has more knowledge than I do.
He asked, how do you make sure that you don't overpower the electricity at a place where you are filming and lose power, which is crucial.
That all comes down to math. That's the electric portion of it. To know your amperage and watts and voltages and stuff. So like a standard plug on like a modern home is, you know, an Edison plug, two plugs, regular, you know, whatever, you plug anything into it. You know, like a lamp. Normally in modern homes, one of circuit is a 20 amp circuit. The only thing about houses is that's not a single dedicated circuit, so you have to figure out which one. So like in this room, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a bunch of outlets.
yeah.
I don't know because I haven't scouted, I haven't tested it out, I haven't flipped the breaker board. I don't know if these are all on one circuit or not. So like these three could all be on one circuit, which would mean together you only have 20 amps. And that means you'll only have 2,000 watts to use. Because of 2,000, you know, what's the West Virginia equals, oh my God, what is it? It's the trick. Well, I should know this, I have it written
West
down.
Virginia trick?
You know, it's voltage. Wattage equals.
Oh, there's like
voltage,
okay, there's
amperage. Amps equals watts times volts. That's it.
okay.
So A equals. I just can't remember the whatever you call it.
The little saying.
Like PEMDAS. What do you call that? I forget. It's
I know the 27 or the 9 multiplied by 9 trick.
multiply by 9 trick.
Yeah. So say, give me a number to multiply, like say 7 times 9. Yeah.
Yeah. 7 times 9.
You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it's
Yep.
Wait, is that right?
No. Yes. No. 60, 63.
I think we should move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
63.
Anyway, like I said, so you got to know. You got to know
Wow, cool.
the main things to not blow. You got to know the wattage of your lights. You got to know, voltage usually should never change. It always stays pretty much the same, like 120 or whatever. And essentially, what you got to do to get amps is watts times volts. So in your head, what we do instead of timesing, let's say this light panel it doesn't take hardly any power, but let's say it takes 500 watts, right?
Yeah.
500 watts, you have a 20 amp circuit. 500, what you do is instead of timesing it by 120 volts, because this would be where it pops up, where A amperage equals W parentheses V, which is the voltage is 120, it's always 120. You times it by 10, which is what you call paper amps, at least in the electric world. So it's easier to do math in your head. Instead of timesing something by 120, you can times it by 100, which is so much easier. So if it's 500 watts, 500 times, 50, God,
You're losing me.
Uh-oh.
I wish I had a board.
Wait.
Do you want one? Do you want a calculator?
I have a calculator on my phone. What did I say? It was a 500 watt light times 100 equals. No, that's not right.
How do you know not to like
I'm
blow?
sorry, that was it.
Power.
Blow
Well,
power
Dumb.
at a
Yeah,
location.
not times. I'm sorry. It's watts. Yeah, it's divided by because math is not.
You're a visual. You're a
I'm
visual
a visual
math
guy.
person.
I can't do it in my head.
You're a
So
visual
it's-
math person.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Erase that. Not times divided by. So it'd be 500 watts divided by 100, which is our voltage. Is our paper amps instead of 120. 500 divided by 100 equals fives. So that light is 5 amps, right? And you get 20 amps on a circuit. So you can put 4 of those lights, 5, 5, 5, 5, to get 20, and that would be the max amount you could put on a circuit.
Wow.
That was much more concise.
That's
And then a larger question is, you mentioned a scout. Usually,
Tech Scout.
yeah, you have a tech scout, which is when
Tech
the
scout is-
essential crew goes out.
The
and-
central crew goes out, they go to look at the locations, they talk with the DP and the director and see what they want to do. Like, okay, we're shooting this here, this scene, we're going to be here for this many days. The DP talks to you about how he wants to light it, what he wants it to look like, the kind of rigs he's maybe thinking of, placements of lights. Then you go through and check to see if you have enough power, if there's a drop, if you're on a stage, where you're going to try to run power from. Measuring everything, seeing the dimensions of the room, looking to see what you can rig to, like all kinds of technical aspects of it, Tech Scout. And power is a big one.
And this all happens before you shoot.
It should.
Yeah.
Yes, ideally.
Ideally, I mean, I should be on a Tech Scout right now for another video that people are filming here, but you guys come first.
Yeah.
But
You
he's
guys
here
come first.
instead. Okay, so we're winding down on the questions. Like I said in the chat, guys, we are not taking any more questions. We've got a couple more here, and then we're wrapping up. But you can go to discuss.rocketship.com, which is on the lower left
Right by Joey's foot.
corner of the screen,
Ask
and
any-
we'll ask questions there. Answer
Absolutely.
questions,
Ask
yeah.
as many questions as you want. Send them to me, or I'm not on there, but I'm
You
sure
can.
I can be.
Yeah.
I can get on there and answer
Dude.
questions.
Dude.
Every
Comment
time
on the video.
Comment on the video, ask a question. I always see the video, and I do try to actually answer. I always
Yeah.
end up answering
In the comments.
nice, polite comments.
Yes.
I try to answer. Sometimes people like to really come at me and say that I don't really work in the film industry.
Well, that was the first video.
Rocket Jump Fire School.
Yeah, the
yeah.
coiling cable video. People came down on hard.
Yeah.
Real hard.
Came down on Don
Which is
pretty
so
hard.
funny because
Controversial.
now there's a recent study or like people talked about and now they're saying over under you shouldn't wrap any cable over under now
Wow.
because this is what I'm hearing
Good.
because it ends up ruining the life because it does end up twisting the inside.
It's
Well,
a
there you
weird
go.
I'm
memory.
not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying I heard
There's more information.
Yeah.
I haven't
Out.
delved into the research topics of that, but if you're wrapping a stinger, over is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 4 more.
4 more questions. Let's do it. I love answering
Young Blaze
questions.
of Chi-Town.
Yeah, baby.
What exactly is a best boy?
What is
Trisha answered this kind of in the chat, but what exactly is a best boy?
A best boy is just like some dude who's super cool, and you're like, dude, you're my best boy. No, that's not
That's
it at
it.
all. A best boy is like the second in command on a grip or electric team. Essentially, grip-wise, I know you guys made a video of
Is
this.
there a best boy grip and a best boy electric?
Yes, there is. I know you guys did it, but and I never told you. I always meant to tell you that you had the crew formation wrong on the video.
Oh,
Which video is
the pre-light.
There was one, probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's where we tried to break down
You
the
guys made the
departments.
tree.
Yeah.
It was wrong.
Uh-oh.
And insulting to the grips.
Uh-oh. We gotta tell Lauren.
It's okay. I always meant to tell you, and I always slip my mind.
Yeah.
But on a film set, it goes, director, and then DP, director of photography, so director number 2. And then it goes under the DP, the gaffer, and the key grip.
Okay.
They're both equal, in charge of electric and grip department. So those two work together essentially to form and communicate the DP.
Yeah.
And then it goes best boy, grip and electric, and then just company grips, company electrics, set lighting technician, whatever.
So what do we have?
You guys had it as
Gaffer.
as director of photography, gaffer, and then key grip best boy. So you were saying that the key grip was like on the same level as the best boy electric.
Uh-oh.
Which is
That ain't right.
Not true. It
I
is
think key group should have a
insulting.
cool name.
Key grip is that not a cool name? It says key in the title.
I think it's
Just-
cool.
But it's right, but it's less
the key.
mysterious than gaffer. Like my old gaffer.
People just
Lord of the
Rings.
love the word gaffer. They just love saying gaffer.
Yeah.
So anyway, Best Boy,
Yes.
get back to the Best Boy. Essentially, Best Boy, what they do is they're the number 2 behind the key, which is either the gaffer or the key grip. They're the number 2 person. What they're in charge of getting everyone's paperwork. I know it sounds weird. They do all the paperwork. They fill out the paperwork, make sure all the time cards are good. That's one of their main jobs on like a big union shoot. The next one is they're the ones who are always like doing the counts, and they're the ones who are kind of, essentially what will happen is the gaffer will talk to the Best Boy. The gaffer's like, all right, hey, this is the plan. I just saw it with the DP. I'll talk to you guys. I'm sorry. just talk to the DP.
I'm his best boy though.
Yeah.
So
Just talk to the DP. This is what we got to do here. I want this, and the gaffer will explain what he wants. I want this here. I need this here. I got to do this. Okay, go talk to the guys, and disperse the information. So the Best Boy usually comes by and like, because you don't want to be bothering the gaffer if you're just an electrician. Like, hey boss, what? He's like, I am doing my job. I'm talking with the director and the DP, trying to figure things out. Go talk to the Best Boy. Don't talk to me. There's the chain of command. So the Best Boy is essentially the number 2 in charge, and he's in charge of doing all the counts. Usually he's the one that would, from the truck videos, the Best Boy would either go or send somebody to go, and they would do all the counts, make sure all the equipment's there, make sure everything's okay. They're in charge of packing the truck and making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. And they're just like, kind of like the number 2 guy. You always talk to the Best Boy.
Nice.
Because the gaffer usually is always talking to the DP, and they're always trying to figure stuff out.
So they're almost like the leader of
They're the leader of
the rest of
the crew, the rest of the dudes.
they're not
or
the general,
electric
but they're
department.
like the captain or the
Sergeant?
sergeant of whatever their platoon
Is that the
or
next
whatever.
sergeant? Yes.
Captain of their. I don't know the whole chain of command,
First class.
All right, almost done, guys.
but they're not
We
the
got
general.
3 more, and then we're gonna end with a personal one.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
97 Lenny 13 said, I gained most of my experience from being a theater technician. I started at local theaters and now work in film as a grip. Have you ever worked in a theater as a stagehand?
Not professionally. I started out my lighting career in high school, in some stage plays. I was an actor as well.
Get out.
Oh man,
No.
I am still an actor. I try. I just never actually do any of it. But I started out when it was the one time I turned to. I love plays. I love theater. I love doing it. But I didn't make the play one year, and it was the first time, and I didn't know what to do. It'd been years. I'd never not been in a play. So I was like, well, I still want to. I love these people. They're my friends. I still want to be a part of it. And I ended up going. I was like, okay, well, how can I help? And like, you could be stage crew. And that's where that's my first experience with a Alico or a Shakespeare.
The spots.
Yes, essentially the spotlights, and the leaves and how to do everything. So that was my first time actually handling one of those.
So yeah, it is an entry point for I think a lot.
It can
I think
be.
a lot
It
of
is.
grips.
I mean, there's a lot. It's film is a lot different than theater. There's a lot. It's much different. But there are a lot of similar things that you do work-wise and stuff.
Cool. Kubrick Lover again asks his last question: how do you attach lights to a car when filming a car chase scene at night?
I use a car mount, or process trailer car mounts. There's all kinds of different things. A main car mount is kind of like a rail system. I'm trying to think if we've ever used a car mount for Rocket Gym. I don't think we have. I don't think we've rented one.
VJHS, no?
No.
But I mean, it depends on the size of the camera, where you want the camera. Car mounts are very they're meticulous. They take time because you have to, especially when you're working with something hanging outside of the car that's going to be moving fast. You have to make sure there's a lot of safety. You have to have a lot of rigging points. You have to make sure everything's connected properly, and like adjusting the camera can be tough. But car mounts are the way to do it. Sometimes if you have a smaller camera, GoPros and stuff, lots of suction cup mounts that you can find online. You can use that and kind of build. You
suction cups, yeah.
Create a rig off of that. I know I've used suction cups a lot.
Was it for camera or for light?
Both.
Yeah.
I've done for both. But essentially, if you're doing it in the car, if you're seeing it in the car, the proper way to do it is to do it on a process trailer, which is the car is on a trailer. It's got bars and stuff around and platforms for people to walk around, and it gets dragged off by another truck. So that truck is actually driving, but the camera angle makes it look like people in the car are actually driving.
It's moving still.
It's actually moving.
Yeah.
And then you can have lights and stuff on the outsides, and you're essentially just on a moving stage platform, which is a process trailer.
It's safer for the actor.
But you can rig to the cars and actually do them themselves.
Or I guess not safer for the,
It's safer for everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For all the folks.
But like suction cups, I've done it with like DSLRs, 5Ds and stuff. I've done a couple other bigger cameras with like suction cups. You need like 4 suction cups. You need to get them far apart. Make sure the suction is good because sometimes they'll start to pop off. Get them a little like wet with water or something. Not soaking wet, but dry it off. Make sure the suction is good first off. You need heads, gobo heads. C-stand heads, you'll pop those on there and you have all kinds of rails that you kind of build and get to a platform where you have the camera. It's super.
Now would be a good time to just name drop
Well, this is the last question.
what do you call it? Go check out Grip Rigs and Shitty Rigs on
That's
Instagram.
the last question.
And
that is?
good.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh.
Let's move into it. Gaspot asks, can you ask Dom what the worst rig he's ever seen is, aka Shitty Rigs?
Okay,
There you go.
here we go. It's a great little Instagram thing to follow. It's
And
also on
Facebook.
Facebook
Yep.
groups. I enjoy it, and I'm not really a part of the world, but there's some really
fun.
funny, good, bad ones,
yeah.
and some really great,
Really, really technical,
elaborate
good ones.
like car rigs and stuff
Yeah.
that we just described. They're all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Grip rigs are the good ones that people are proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll take stills from movies and go like here, and they'll credit it. Here's the DP, here's the key grip.
Right.
This is the rig, blah blah blah.
That's pretty rad.
What's it called? Shitty rig?
Grip rigs.
rigs and shitty
Here,
rigs.
I'll put it in there, Trisha.
Let me see if I can find a good car.
I mean, we've all had some real shitty rigs.
You can curse.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've all.
For not sure.
Car rig in Iran. Dude, look at that, guys.
That's insane.
Yeah. Let me see if we can show the camera.
That's a huge
sure if I
rig.
can pull
That's a sky
focus.
panel. Let me know when you're at.
Come closer. Keep going. Yeah, keep coming. Yeah.
It's still in focus.
Mm-hmm. See that?
Am I in focus still?
I think so.
Okay, so that's a sky panel. That's a new airy light that's amazing. And then you can just see like they literally have arms and heads, everywhere building it, and then probably ratchet strapping to the undercarriage to make sure it stays taut.
Safety.
Against the car, safety.
Yeah.
There's frames, there's lights. This is a monster
Let me
rig.
just sort of thumb through some of these things. Like
Yeah.
here's another one.
The gnarliest rig I ever did, I rigged a giant 70-pound IMAX camera to a roller coaster.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah, I
Dude,
did.
that's awesome.
I actually
So yeah.
have pictures of that.
Your Shitty Rigs is so great. Should we show Shitty Rigs real quick?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll pull that up. Dom, you find yours and I'll.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, seriously, check this stuff out if you're interested and just see what people are up to. You're always sort of doing Legos, like you said.
Yeah, it's like grown up connects
Yeah.
Legos building.
It's 100% what it is. Oh, my NoFX music video, and when is before or after that?
I want to get a T-shirt. They're selling selling a T-shirt.
There we go. Here's-
This is funny. That's not that bad, but it's straight up wheelbarrow dolly.
oh yeah, that's
Just
everyone's
classic.
kinda done
Everyone's
that.
done that, but you see stuff like this where it's just like the most unelaborate filmmakers' techniques and things like that. These are all great.
This is probably the best picture that I have of my.
All right, put it right up there.
So here we go. I wish I had a
Oh,
screen.
I have seen this.
Have I showed you this?
Yeah.
So this is a IMAX 3D film camera, and that's a magazine. It's I think a 100-foot mag. I can't remember. It's big. So this camera weighs about 70 pounds or so, and we put it. Obviously, it looks like on a roller coaster there. So you can see I have all kinds of like cheese burrows and pipe and everything connecting and going and coming under. We have ratchet straps going up and over. A Fernie pad to make sure we don't scratch the paint on the roller coaster. But like this was probably the most intricate rig, one of the most intricate rigs I've ever done. We had pipe going all the way to the back and connecting around
Man,
the
I've
whole thing.
scuffed this up.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, Dom.
Yeah, that was my coolest. That one took forever because the terrifying thing was they sprung that on me.
Don't do this.
That was on a trip. I was in Phoenix last year. They flew me out there and I was working on it. And
How many hours?
Did
to
that
rig it?
take?
Yeah.
After I got it prepped, I had all the gear there and I had horrible gear. I had to piece together Like if I'm taking full time to actually like, I had to sit in the truck for like almost like 4 hours one day trying to just get it so I can fit the camera onto the plate to actually rig that.
Yeah.
Like it took a long time.
Jeez.
Actual build time once I got everything set and figured out was probably about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because it was just me. I had me and then that other guy. He came like halfway through, so like I needed at least some other guy, and we were going through and just there's all kinds of stuff for it.
Dude, that was huge, man.
It was insane. And then
how heavy is the 3D camera or the IMAX camera?
that IMAX camera was 70 pounds. The IMAX 3D camera that we were using is 300 pounds.
Oh my God.
It took 4 people to carry it. Like it's literally this tall, this big, has 400-foot like magazines into it. So like, because it's 3D, it's 2 lenses or whatever, 2 things to make it 3D. So it's filming, it's spooling out the film into the next empty mag, which is next to it, and there's 2 of them, and it's just insanely heavy. That job was so tough.
Yeah.
That's gonna be in the next IMAX movies, like Science Marvels or something, whenever it comes out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You'll see that at like one of the tech centers.
Like the museums, the tech centers and stuff. That'll be out there. This company that I work for does all those movies. They did like the National Parks one. They did whatever. But that was.
What's your Instagram? People are curious.
Yeah, your Instagram
GH Dom?
No.
I said your Twitter.
My Twitter, yeah.
Dom's gonna blow up.
Your Twitter is GH Dom.
My Instagram,
Oh, yeah.
huh?
You can say no.
No, it's fine. It's just my name. It's just I think it's Dom Diastis on Instagram.
Instagram?
I'm really bad at Instagram and a lot of social media.
We're about to get 1,000 followers.
Great.
Wow.
I'm really bad at it, but I'll try to start posting some cool stuff.
They also
rigs.
asked if you're going to visit the forums. I think they have a lot more questions for you.
Hey, ask
They
me.
like you.
They like you. They really like you.
Finally.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Hated for a long
time coming.
No.
Yeah, I'll definitely hop on the forums. Rocket Jump's my family. I love these guys. I'll always come in and I love doing the videos. So any
best
questions
boy.
you guys have, I love.
He's our best boy.
Your best boy.
Wait, you got to do the
We're
pose.
best boys.
He's our
What's that? Oh yeah.
best boy.
The one in front,
Yeah.
one in front, one behind.
Yeah.
Like
There you go.
the barrel point.
Yeah, count it.
Cool. Are we wrapping up?
I think
I
this
think
is
we're
it.
wrapping up, guys. Okay,
To
so
be
yes,
continued.
thank you for all the great questions. My goodness, so
I'm
many
sure
good
we'll
questions.
do another one on vocab of gear.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're shooting that sometime soon. So
It'll
when
be
that
out
comes
in a
out,
couple weeks.
It'll be a lot of fun.
And then next week's stream too?
That's right.
yes. So next week's stream, special guest Freddie Wong is going to be doing VFX for you guys.
Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Didn't you go to Taco Bell today?
I haven't heard of him. Oh yeah,
Yes.
we didn't talk about this, but we're real slowed down by Taco Bell right now.
Taco Bell just released their goddamn fried chicken chalupa shell. So
Anyway.
and
Rocket
it's
Jump stamp of approval?
it's phenomenal.
it was really good.
It's amazing. I did not think it was going to be good, and it was delicious. I had 2 of them, and I regret it.
Don't get too many.
we spent $100 at Taco Bell today,
Okay.
collectively.
You can find
Moving on.
Yeah,
We
so-
did an office lunch.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was fast. That was 2 people already followed me on Instagram.
Wow.
Famous Amos.
Zach Dickinson and Richard Bokenegger.
Dude, on it.
Shout out.
Boom.
All right.
That was quick, guys.
So yes, next Thursday at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Freddie will be doing VFX on a video that is coming out soon. So come check that out.
That's what he's shooting.
Sunday?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
where
that
Freddie is.
video.
That's-
Oh, I'm going to be working on that video.
Yeah, there you go. So Dom will be on it.
Awesome.
And then, next week, new stream, new video. Stay tuned.
See
I
ya.
guess we'll see you next time. Should we do a screenshot? Oh, Alex
yeah.
wasn't in there, but should we screenshot?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay.
Let me take it.
Oh, what?
Wait,
You're
what?
gonna, no, you don't take a photo of it. They do a screenshot.
Do your thing.
All right,
Do
all right.
both.
Should I do finger guns?
Whatever you want.
Is this?
That's good. That's good.
Okay, we got it.
All right. See you
Okay,
next
guys.
time.
We'll see you next Thursday.
Guys. Well,
Thanks, Dom. Thanks for coming in.
I'll be
Thanks,
back.
Dom.
I'll be answering questions.
Familia.
Anytime you want.
Bye.
Get at me. Bye, guys.